What's up YouTube, Pink Reaper here, back with another Let's Play Mega Man Battle Network 3 folder exhibition. So in the last part I showed off the decode folder, and I said at the end of that my next folder was probably going to be my last one, and it was going to be the E-code folder, or it was probably going to be my last one. But between recording that and now, I've decided I am going to show off more folders. I didn't originally intend to, because many of the chips that I needed to get for these folders were sort of grindy. They weren't the easiest chips to get. But I decided, you know, I have the time, and some of them necessarily aren't hard to grind for. They're just time consuming, they're tedious. I was like, well, I might as well do it. I might as well show off some other folders that I like and some other stuff I like showing off. So the folder I'm going to be showing off today is actually the Y code folder, which is sort of an interesting code. But again, before I do that, it's going to be a non sequitur where I talk about things that aren't even related to the folder. So I want to talk about something I haven't really talked about a lot throughout the Let's Play or just in general, and that is Navi customization. So along with good folder building, good Navi customization is really important in order for gameplay to progress smoothly, as it were. Obviously, as you can see with my build here, I focus heavily on my custom screen, because that is what my folders, you know, sort of require. When building the Navi customizer, it's always important to take into consideration what are and are not good programs, and what you are and aren't going to be doing with your folder. Now, unlike with pretty much everything else in the game, save perhaps like folder back, there's only one other thing in this game that could be absolutely considered the best of the best for anything, and that is hub batch. This program is unquestionably the best program in the game, giving you a multitude of incredibly useful programs all at once, those being Meg Folder 1, Custom 1, Float Shoes, Air Shoes, Shield, Super Armor, Brake Buster, Brake Charge, and Undershirt. I don't think I'm forgetting anything else. All of those being representatory of the different style changes throughout the game, with the exception of the version exclusives, Shadow and Ground Style. However, while Hub Batch is unquestionably the best program in the game, there are other really good programs, and depending on how you're building your folder, it may not 100% be necessary. So I want to talk a bit about what are other good programs and what styles you need to get them, or where you get them. Obviously, the Custom Plus programs are amongst the strongest in terms of what you find via leveling styles up. Custom 2 specifically is incredibly strong. Obviously, it just gives you 2 more custom gauge chips. Custom 1s, however, are probably more useful. Custom 1 yellows from level 2 of custom style, as it doesn't require you use your what is that thing called? Your mod tools, if you don't happen to be using custom style at the time. Beyond that, the Air Shoes and Float Shoes programs, Float Shoes specifically, from the Shadow style are incredibly useful. You get, for that one, for Shadow style, I believe you get Air Shoes, Float Shoes, and then Anti-Damage, which is actually not very good of a program. Float Shoes takes up kind of a bit of space on the Navi Customizer program, but it comes in white, which means you can use it with you can use it with any style, and it's very useful when building folders that don't necessarily require like a ton of mega chips or anything like that. You can combine it with styles that, you know, You combine it with custom style. You can combine it with custom style or team style or things like that if you don't have the perfect style that you need. Super armor, which I believe you get from Guts style. It's either Guts or it's Shield, but I'm almost 100% certain it's Guts. I might be wrong though. Isn't hugely useful, but it's useful for remembering that. Oh, I have air shoes. Oh, I guess you don't get this from. Shadow style. I could have sworn you did though. Well, float shoes is more useful anyway. Super armor is useful when you consider that your busting rank when taking damage into account only takes into account whether or not you flinched. If you don't flinch, doesn't count towards your rank. So it can be useful for things like grinding rank 4 or level 4 Navi chips early in the game and things like that. Fast gauge is hugely useful, especially when considering the fact that if you have it compressed using the Navi customizer compression codes, it doesn't take up a terrible amount of space, still leaving you with a large portion of your customizer, and essentially negating the need of fast gauge in your folder, freeing up an extra chip slot. After that, I'd say Charge is actually one of the most useful programs. Busters in this game aren't super useful. However, if you have the styles that can use the Buster well, Wood style or Elect style, the ability to charge quickly is very important. So anything that allows you to fit four charges in is incredibly useful. Beyond that, the only really useful Navi Customizer program you get from leveling up styles is Bug Stop, which I do not have. You get Bug Stop from the first level up of Bug Style. However, Bug Style only has 2 levels. You get Bug Stop and then you get Dark Mind. Not Dark Mind. Black License. Or Dark License, I'm sorry. I had Black Mind and Dark License confused. Bug Stop is a rather large program. It's an L shape that takes up, I think it's 4 vertical and 3 horizontal. It might be 4-4. I can't quite remember. It's white, and it obviously it requires the whatever the hell this line thing is called. However, it makes it so you don't receive any bugs from the Navi Customizer no matter what you have. That can be really useful, one with Hub Batch, just because you don't have to worry about losing 500 HP every time. But it can also be useful with things like stacking customs if you have a bunch of yellow custom ones, but you have no way of fitting them all. Well, not in custom style, obviously. Outside of that, there's not a ton that I would consider super useful for the Navi Customizer in terms of actual battling. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff that's useful for like in-game or early game and things like that. The only other thing worth mentioning is the set program: Set Metal, Set Ice, Set Lava, Set Green, Set Holy. They're not hugely useful. Set Ice can be useful if you're using like something that relies on electric chips and things like that. However, all of them kind of take up too much space in my opinion. If they were 3, I know it would be really broken, but if they were three squares, all of them, it wouldn't be too bad. But Set Metal is actually one of the smaller ones. They can actually get larger. Set Grass is sort of useful because anything that requires grass stage is usually going to be a folder that revolves around fire chips, and that means you can essentially use that as your first grass stage, and then you can still have grass stage chips later. Outside of those two, however, nothing particularly useful comes to mind. Set sand isn't hugely useful because any folder that's going to be using sand there are none. I say that, but I actually have a folder in mind that would be using sand. Set holy is gigantic. Set metal isn't particularly useful, except for like against maybe Gutsman if you're not using air shoes. I don't know. But yeah. Obviously press, which is story necessary, is useful. Anytime you can fit that in on anything, it's good. I can actually fit it in now if I really wanted to. I can take off this custom and still have 10 chips. But yeah. With that said, let's go ahead and show off the actual folder now, my Y code folder. Now you'll see here I have what looks like 3, but it's actually 4 whole sets of Life Sword, all in Y code. I have Area Grab as my second chip so that it always appears during the 11th chip glitch. I have 1 Metagel 1Y, which in blue version I believe you can only get in the chip trader, because I believe it is a white version custom style exclusive chip. I happened to get one in the chip trader a few days back, and it kind of pushed me towards actually making this folder. I was like, I guess. 4 Invis, Invis asterisks, 4 Navi plus 20s, attack plus 30, Navi plus 40, and then Japan Man 1 through 5, hereon referred to as Yamato Man. So to show off this folder, we're going to go ahead and fight Chod. Oops, wrong folder. I didn't want to show this folder off just yet. This is the E code folder. Reset. I'm still on that, yeah. It says I have this equipped! You guys see that, right? Why was I using E-code there? That makes no sense. Alright, so here we go. Ooh, I have Yamato Man 4. And I have Life Sword, obviously. Let's go ahead and toss one of these to be that. And I'll show off Yamato Man. Why you gotta be like that, Proto Man? There we go. This ensures I can hit him wherever he is. Now, Yamato Man is interesting in that if you tap A and B, you get extra hits. What do I have as my just regular sword bugger? Wait, what am I doing? Hold on. There we go. Let's go ahead and area lock him. And we'll set up a Life Sword program advance. So obviously the entire folder revolves around Life Swords and Yamato Man. Just kind of messing things up pretty easily. I missed, I'm dumb. This is a bad idea, I should not be just standing right here. Ah, that's another invis. How'd that work out for you? How'd that work out for you there, Proto Man? Is it A and B alternating, or is it something else? I can't remember now. I feel like I have that wrong now for some reason. This folder is actually one of the best all-purpose folders, because it has a multi-hitting Navi chip that can be boosted pretty easily with, obviously, the Navi Plus chips. And then Wide Sword is just a large range, massive damage attack that's really easy to use. Obviously, everything being sword element, as it were. What do I want to do here? Let's get rid these. And I think that is actually all I will do with that right now. I just want to get into that area so that I can make him blow all of his area grabs. This folder actually only needs one area steal to be effective. Like, it only needs one range, essentially. Which, Yamato knows that. That's fine. I might be wrong about this. It might be tapping something else. I can't remember. Obviously, it's lower overall in terms of how much damage it can do than stuff like what's his name? Bubble Man? With boosting chips like what are they called? Aqua plus 30s. However, it's still a very high damaging attack. And it has what I'd like to refer to... Ooh, Yamato Man 5. It has what I like to refer to as slightly better range. Not having to have the opponent be directly in front of you. Its range is still not perfect, but it's good. I'm kind of upset I kind of blew the... I don't know why... I literally don't know why it showed the E-code folder there. You can even see I have this equipped. Like, I don't know what happened. But whatever. Yeah, Yamato Man is not 100% as powerful as Bubble Man, but it still can deal a ton of damage. And the higher base damage sort of helps to deal with the fact that it has lower amounts of hits overall. And can't be boosted quite as high. On average, Bubble Man will average higher just because it has access to more high damaging, or more high addition chips. Since it has access to a bunch of plus 30s, as opposed to Yamato Man's only 1 plus 40, 1 plus 30, and then everything else being plus 20s. That said, Yamato Man's still a very strong chip. And somewhat decent range, only needing one area steal to really be effective. It's a fun folder. 4 life swords might sound like overkill, but it works really well. It's very strong, and it's very usable. And it's a lot better for, like, in-game than anything else. Not necessarily... Okay, it's not better than P-code folders, but it's a lot better for in-game than a lot of other stuff. And the chips aren't super hard to get. Yamato Man is obviously Yamato Man. He doesn't come until the end of the game. But Life Sword in Y variation, Sword Y drops in ACDC 1 from Green Mystery Data. So you can just enter and exit until you find that. Wide Sword Y drops from Scilab Area 1. Again, you can just exit and enter until you find that. And then Long Sword Y is bought from Higsby's shop. So in terms of building that part of it, the actual Y code part of it for Life Sword, you can actually build that folder, all Ys, you know, 4 sets of Life Sword, pretty early into the game. I believe chip ordering comes right after, what is it? I want to say right after Bubble Man. And then, you can just sort of fill out the rest with random asterisk chips. And you can make this folder very easily, and you can make it very strong, right off from the beginning of the game. But anyways, that is it for the Y code folder. After this, obviously, for the next one will be the E code folder. Which we already got a bit of a glimpse at. But until then, thanks for watching, guys. This has been Pink Reaper, signing out.